Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and I hope you've seen the review that went up just yesterday on this guy. It's absolutely awesome, and Trick or Treat Studios have done an incredible job recreating the 2018 Michael Myers. Thanks again to Mad About Horror for getting it to me so fast. Amazing service. It made the review, going up as quickly as it did. It made that possible, and that was absolutely awesome for me. A big thrill to be able to give you the big kind of unveiling on YouTube of this 1/6 scale figure. And now that the review is done, it's time to experiment, to do some things, little 1/6 scale shenanigans, mischief, if you will. I want him to be taller, so I'm gonna swap-a-roo the head with my big, tall, custom 2018 Myers. That's the Brian Harper head sculpt you've seen on the channel. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. It just went up recently. Custom made 1/6 scale head. Now, yeah, he just needs to be a little bit taller. So luckily, I have a set of coveralls by Tanila, the artist who supplied the blueprints, the measurements, everything that Tots used to create these is from Tanila's design. And these ones over here are actually handmade by Tanila herself. So that's an interesting little comparison that we can have as well. But the main thing I want to do is basically just swap the heads around. Let's bring in the big guy because he is big. Got some other, these are all custom parts. So you got the Beta Metalli prototype head here. That's that's a custom sculpt that's very, very expensive and very rare. We got the pretty much movie accurate pumpkin here from John Pearson. Beautiful work there with the hearts for the eyes. I believe this was the Tanila's Customs knife by Dave at Tanila's Customs. These are some really bloody custom hands. Well, not custom hands, but hands. There's a customized hand with the blown off fingers. Really nasty looking. But yeah, we'll bring them over. And of course the custom head by Ryan Harper. Absolutely love this. I mean, it is really a work of art. I just was a bit concerned that maybe because this setup is so tall and big, maybe this head sculpt was a tiny bit underscaled. You might disagree. Just think it might suit, if I swap these two around, it might work a little better. So I don't know, you guys can let me know in the comments, but I'm just going to swap the heads around now basically, and we'll see how that looks. Alright, I have swapped around the heads, and things are starting to make a little bit more sense to my eye now, proportion wise. Gotta say, Ryan Harper's head is looking pretty damn good on the Tots setup. Just proportion wise, it seems to work a little bit better. I could be wrong. It might have been perfect on the taller body. It is hard to tell when you got both of them side by side like this because your eyes are darting back and forth to each one. So I'll separate them in a minute and we'll concentrate a little bit more on each one individually. But the Tots head sculpt doesn't seem to be out of proportion with the taller setup on the left. It seems to be working pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I mean, that body is considerably taller. I'll put them right side by side for a moment so you can see. And again, they are still on the same kind of base. Legs are about the same distance apart. So yeah, considerable height difference. Alright, so we'll take a look at the coveralls just side by side for a moment. So once again, you've got the actual handmade by Tanila herself, custom 1/6 scale 2018 Michael Myers coveralls here, which I have weathered. And then over here we have brand new, just arrived yesterday, the stock Trick or Treat Studios 1/6 scale coveralls, designed and everything by Tanila. Although these are made in the factory at Trick or Treat Studios, I guess, but they are made with Tanila's, schematics. Is that the right word? Anyway, you know what I mean. So let's take a look. As far as the color goes, they do seem to be identical. And bearing in mind, I have weathered mine with a black wash in places. I've gone over all the stitching with a black wash with a little paintbrush, just to make the stitching a little bit more subtle and make it look like it's been worn by a mechanic in a garage. So that's what I've done there. And around the sleeves, and you just notice for a minute how much of a good fit the ends of the coveralls. They land at the exact point, and they're not bunching up because they naturally kind of end at this point. Which is a very accurate point for them to end if you're familiar with the movie, when you can see his boots in the toilet scene when he first gets his coveralls back. So all in all, this setup here height wise, proportions. I mean, I've spent a long time, I've dremeled away sections of the side of the arm here to make the sort of wideness of his shoulders a little bit less. I did that a few days ago and I didn't actually tell anyone about it, but I'm telling you now, I have actually dremeled and filed down the sort of main part of the arm here just to kind of give him a bit more of a, you know, a slender look, because not slender, but a bit more to what I think, you know, James Dew Courtney's kind of frame is like. So a fair bit of work's gone into those. The only real difference, I mean, on these actual Tanila's custom coveralls, the zip is a bit more subtle. It's one of those kind of zips, whereas obviously Trick or Treat Studios use one like this that you can easily kind of get your hands on and move. And I just kind of try to tuck it behind this little flap here to make it a bit less obvious. Then we got the collar section on the actual Tanila's custom coveralls. That's all like this. Got the inside buttons there. Collar looks like that. And then over here on the Trick or Treat, whoop. Actually, that's interesting. Well, hang on, is it? So on the Trick or Treat ones, you've got buttons on the outside, and then you can also see them on the inside. But on the Tanila's actual handmade ones, you don't see the button there, but you do see it on the inside. So if you'll excuse me, I need to go find out which one is accurate. I have a feeling it will be these, but I need to go check. Alright, so I've done some research, and it turns out, no, you are definitely not supposed to see any silver button on the outside section here. That is meant to be all material. And then on the inside, apparently you do get a little button clasp thingy, but not on the outside. So that is accurate, which I'm glad about, because these were the custom ones. I had to pay buckage, you know, to get my custom coveralls, and they are accurate. That's movie accurate action right there, so that is good. However, I'm sorry to bring it to your attention now that that button there should not be present. Well, you shouldn't be able to see it. I suppose you could paint it black, maybe make it a little bit more subtle. You might not care, in which case, fair play to you. But I'm just here to point out annoying little details like that, which I've only just discovered myself. It's interesting, but very glad to see that the custom ones are hella accurate. You know, you can't see the button on the outside, and that head sculpt really seems to be working. Like in proportion wise on the new setup here, the taller setup. I'm going to separate them now because it's too distracting having them side by side. I just want to focus on each one for a minute. Now, it was confirmed in the comments for the review for the Trick or Treat Studios figure that it was indeed Alex Ray who was responsible for bringing us these incredible 2018 hand sculpts that come with the Trick or Treat Studios figure. He was nice enough to leave me a comment answering my question as to who was responsible, because I know Justin Mabry and Alex work on the heads together, but apparently it was all Alex with the hands, and they are absolutely incredible, man. Just incredible paintwork on those. And obviously Ryan Harper's head sculpt looks really, really cool on this setup. He's looking down at his hand. He's not happy that he's just lost 2 digits. He wants his Cumberlands back. I want my sausages. So he's gonna come get them. Blade in hand, ready for action. Yeah, man, the setup is looking good with the Harper sculpt. Proportion wise, things just work a little better, I think, here. Still might extend the ankle area, get these trousers to, or the legs of the coveralls, get them to fall about here naturally. So a little ankle extension situation thing going on. I'll figure that out. I might just use a bit of blue tack for now. Do you know what? I'm going to do that because I want to see what it looks like. Alright, well, just for now, temporary solution, so I see how it looks. I just stuffed it with blue tack. It's collector's best friend. So let's stuff him back in his boots and see how much taller he looks, and see the inevitable effect of these legs here falling way more naturally and completing the look. Alright, so the effect is incredible. It's made such a difference because he did have that kind of weird baggy look to below the knee. The whole kind of below the knee area to the boot was looking a bit out of proportion, a bit saggy, throwing things off a little bit. But now with that very kind of, crude, makeshift, temporary, I say temporary, that's my solution. I've done it now. I ain't going off looking on eBay for ankle pegs. I've done it. Blue tack, cheers. But yeah, just a little temporary solution. But now you've got yourself one hell of a figure. Everything is in proportion. And I better show you it with the actual Trick or Treat Studios head sculpt, but just a tip of the hat again to Ryan Harper. Amazing work, well done sir, on your amazing custom head sculpt. Give you a quick little close-up, pan up and down, little move around it. Let me hit that brightness a little bit. It's a little bit too bright. There we go. Ooh, that looks pretty sweet. And now bring down the light and show you that the coveralls are ending at a very natural kind of place here, thanks to the blue tack. No more bunching up. It's making them look more in proportion, thinner. So that has worked an absolute treat. Alright, so now let me put the Tots head back on the body. Okay, so there is the Trick or Treat Studios figure all back together again. The only thing that's different now is he has some blue tack stuffed into his boots, and the legs have been stuffed into the blue tack just a bit. The stand is doing most of the work. Unfortunately, you don't get a stand with the figure. You'd have to pick up one of these stands on eBay. It's easy enough, just type in 1/6 scale figure stand. You'll have an ocean of options suddenly hit you in the face, and you'll be hoping that David Hasselhoff will run forth all sweaty, bare-chested, to save you from drowning in the ocean of options that you will find on eBay. But he looks good. He looks really good. Now that the length of the leg has been tweaked, that is just all-round much more pleasing to the eye of an obsessed OCD Myers fan type person like myself. Now that has made one hell of a difference though. Such a simple thing, just stuffing the boots with blue tack, and now we have a taller Myers and everything's in better proportion. And that won't cost you a penny unless you have to buy the blue tack. I always leave a bit lying around. You might want to do that as well, especially if you're a collector. You always need a bit of blue tack. And problem solved. So he looks good. Looks very good. Turn him to the side. Yep. Very good. Look at the way the legs of the coveralls just flow naturally now. The whole coverall set now just looks like it has more of a natural weight to it. The way it falls on the body. You know, subtle little things like that make such a big difference when you're displaying a piece such as this. A fine piece. Yeah, so as awesome as that looks, and that is what I recommend a lot of you guys do, just a bit of blue tack, and then it will look like that. Your one will. Awesome. But because I've got the taller custom setup over here, I can't really go back to using Ryan Harper's sculpt on the bigger one now that I've seen how well proportioned it is with the slightly shorter one. So I'm going to go back to having, for my own personal display, I will be rocking the Tots head on my bigger custom Myers here. Because I just think that looks friggin' sweet. So now I can have a really big, mostly custom, you know. That head sculpt is fantastic, man. I'm really doubting whether or not I should do anything to it. Like I said in the review, I wouldn't mind a little bit more weathering on the tip of his nose, but some of the pictures I took of him recently, just around the house, trying to get him to look life-size just by zooming in and getting the background to look in scale with him and stuff. And it didn't really look in those pictures like he needed any touching up as far as the paint goes. So, I don't know. You know I will, though. You know what I'm like. I'll be back in a few days saying, I painted the head sculpt. So let's get Ryan Harper's custom head back on here. Let me just get that on there right. Yeah. No, I love the way that looks proportion-wise. So that will more than likely be how I go about things for a little while display-wise. So, awesome work, everyone out there. Awesome strides being made. Big, long, Bigfoot, BFG, giant strides. Striding forward. The independent artists and the independent artists who have been recognized and now do fine work for companies like Trick or Treat. It's all happening, man. Everyone's doing their thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm happy to be alive at a time where the hobby has got to such a level where things look so real and so accurate. It's just, you know, good times. And I'm just thinking, this hand that comes with the Trick or Treat Studios figure, it's amazing, by the way. I think I've already said that, but I'll say it again. Alex Ray, behave yourself, sir. Look at this. Look at the fingernails, the grease, the dirt. Anyway, if I take the hammer out of the hammer holding hand, which I got the wrong way around in the review, if you noticed that at the beginning when I was talking about hands, I said, oh, this is the hand that holds the hammer. It wasn't. It was the hand that holds the knife. But anyway, Tanila's Customs knife that came with the custom coveralls has, it's very movie accurate looking. So I believe that knife from Tanila's Customs is going to fit in this Trick or Treat Studios hand really well. Because usually with the Trick or Treat Studios knife holding hands, it's like a closed fist but with a little thin hole going through it, and a custom knife like this, the handle would never fit through it. Whereas I think we have got ourselves... Oh man, that is pretty damn sweet. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that now. Yeah, that works. That works good. So I've just got one hell of a knife upgrade. Real metal. So careful. Also have a... Hang on a minute. Am I getting my knives mixed up? I'm getting my damn knives mixed up. This is the Shadow Virgo knife. No wonder I almost bloody cut myself. That's the Tanila's Customs knife. I could just start filming that again, but I'm not. I'm going to just leave it. So, yeah, my mistake. This is the knife by Shadow Virgo on Instagram. He's a very good dude. He makes incredible weapons, and they're always very sharp. So be careful about it. I mean, really, really sharp. But that looks absolutely amazing in that hand. So that's what I'm going to do. The custom figure, the big guy, he has the Tanila's Customs knife, which fits in that hand perfectly, as you can see. So I'm going to leave the Tanila's Customs knife with the Tanila's Customs coveralls, and I'm going to put the Shadow Virgo knife in this awesome hammer holding hand from Tots and put it on the Tots setup and come back at you with the footage, the goodies. And since stuffing the boots on the Tots figure with blue tack, the height difference is not so bad anymore. They're both kind of measuring up quite nicely. So I hope it's been an interesting video, entertaining for you. If it was, press your finger on the like button and the subscribe button and the bell notification icon as well, because then you'll get emails every time I upload a new video and you won't be late. Even though being late is kind of cool, but not to YouTube videos. That's just sad. You want to get there first. You want to be the first one. Whoever leaves that first comment, yes, King of the Mountain, see? I've had a few of them. It's nice that anyone cares enough. Saw one guy, a figure reviewer, big dog. He actually had a go at someone for saying first under his video. He's like, do you really think anyone cares if you're first? It's like, mate, you should be grateful that anyone even gives a fuck, you know? Oh, for those of you that are stuck around this long, I might as well treat you. I had a bunch of comments from people wanting me to compare these two head sculpts to each other, which is not really fair. I mean, I can do it. I've been doing the whole video anyway. You've been seeing them side by side, so you've been comparing them already, but as far as what to say about it, you've got a mass-produced Trick or Treat Studios head sculpt here, which the sculpt is flawless. It really is. It's amazing, even down to the way the hair's been sculpted. Paint is very acceptable. You know, as for a mass-produced price point, all that stuff taken into consideration, you can't really fault it. It is fantastic. I mean, I've got my lighting here, which Sideshow freaks keep calling like cinematic lighting and stuff. I mean, I guess it's kind of good lighting. You've got two LEDs, like a ring light pointing down, and you've got another one here, but it's like a long one that moves around in different positions. And then you got some warm ceiling lights kind of coming down, giving the warmth. But yeah, the lighting, you know, does factor in for sure. And then you've got the Ryan Harper custom made from scratch. One guy just getting it done, 24 years old, not even a year in the game, and he manages to bust something out that's this movie accurate. You got to respect that, man. You got to put a mark of respect on it. Look at that. So he's done an amazing job. I mean, you can't really compare this paintwork, which is obviously fantastic, and you know, like I said, it's pure passion. So it's just, you know, you got, you know, factory paint job next to a custom one. So it's a different ball game, folks. But for those of you that wanted to see it, that's about as much as I'm going to give you. because I respect Ryan Harper a lot for just being a good friend and doing such amazing work, and also got mad respect for Justin Mabry and Alex Ray and the work they're doing. So I love them both, man. Genuinely, I do. Anyway, rambly. They are pretty damn sick together, and almost the same height now, thanks to the blue tack. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. Drop a like on it if you did. Make sure you subscribe. See you soon. Take it easy. Bye bye.